Good morning. Welcome back to Mull. Very pleasant morning, a bit breezy. I'm back at Grass Point this morning. And this morning's message from Mull is train your defenses. And this carries on the sequence of talks that we've been doing based around the body's systems. So we've looked at the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, the nervous system, and this morning we're going to look at the immune system and its response to exercise. Now, the immune system is a complex network of cells and proteins that defend your body from infection. So basically, any germ, disease that enters the body tries to fight against it, and it keeps a record of all those that it has defeated, so that if that disease or infection was to enter the body again in the future, we could organize our defenses quite quickly to fight that off. And certainly that sense of immunity is something that we really hope that we will be developing based around COVID-19, but as yet we're not entirely sure as to the long-term effects of that. Let's keep everything crossed that will be the case. So your immune system, what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about your white blood cells, your antibodies, your lymphatic system, your spleen, your thymus, and your bone marrow as well. And bone marrow is where your white blood cells are produced, so quite an important part of the immune system. And I guess the headlines are that good news, that regular moderate activity, the sort of activity that we would promote with you guys, has been shown to improve your immune response. And again, it's one of these things that there is a happy medium. You can go too far. High levels of exercise can affect the immune system. I'll talk about that just before we finish. But the sort of exercise that we prescribe to you guys certainly has been shown to improve immune response. So it increases our defensive activity, it reduces our risk of illness, and exercise has an anti-inflammatory response within the human body as well. And that's a big help to us when we're trying to fight off infection. And also we've found that immune regulation improves. So this is in response to as we get older. So as we get older, things within the body tend not to function quite as efficiently. Immune response is one of those things, but the level of dysfunction has been shown to be decreased in those who train into older age. So what's actually going on? Well, when you start to exercise, the body sees it as a stressor, basically. And when you start to exercise and the body is put under that acute level of stress, which we know is a good thing for us long term, the body reacts by flooding your bloodstream with white blood cells and killer cells. These are the sort of things that fight infections, that find germs and take them out. And that response carries on for quite some time after you've finished exercising as well, maybe up to 3 hours. So there's this increased level of white blood cells and killer T cells into your body. So K cells they're called. That doesn't matter. They take out germs basically. And the British Journal of Sports Medicine has actually found that those who train just 20 minutes a day for, say, 5 days a week, now that could be 2 10-minute walks, so that's not an onerous request really. You are up to 43% less likely to develop upper respiratory problems, things like common colds, and sort of regular sniffles that we would get during the year. And those that do develop those sort of conditions, their symptoms are seen to be much less severe. So basically, exercise is a very good thing for your immune system, but in moderate levels. Now, as I was talking about earlier on, there is a sweet spot. And what we're finding is that those that train, especially long distance events again, so putting the body under continued strain for long periods of time, so distance running, cycling events, things like that, if they're done over long periods of time without adequate rest, then the immune system is seen to be hindered somewhat and compromised and not as effective. There's really two trains of thought. One is that the immune system is a bit battered and it drops down. The other sort of train of thought is that the fact that a lot of these events involve training with lots of other people. If you think marathon or the Great North Run and events like that, you may have trained quite hard up to that event, so your body's on maybe a slightly low ebb, and then you go and you stand next to thousands sometimes of different people. And we know that the issues we're having these days in terms of COVID-19 and the fact that we need to socially distance to reduce the effects of potential infection. So quite often it's not the fact that your immune system is absolutely wrecked, it's just the fact that you're standing right next to lots of other people, running, heavy breathing, and that can transfer infections, so people tend to pick up more colds at that time as well. But certainly there is a sweet spot to be found. Again, the sort of exercise we're talking about that would have a detrimental effect on the immune system is not the sort of stuff that we would be doing. So it's not really worth worrying about. I just like to cover these aspects in case you're reading about these things, or someone else would mention that, you better be careful, you can't do too much exercise, it knackers your immune system. For us, that's not really going to be the case. One final word of warning though is that if you do pick up an infection, and we're not just talking about COVID-19, if you have a normal cold or something like that, but certainly any type of flu, and if you do get COVID-19, then please do not train at all. Just leave it until your body fights that infection off. It's quite a nasty disease for some of us, and we don't want to compromise our immune system or weaken our immune system in any way, shape or form at that time. So basically stop everything, ignore everything we talk to you about in terms of your normal exercise routine, rest, take time, eat as healthy as you can, and just give your body that chance to fight things off. And then when you're starting to feel a bit better, ease back in again, realizing that you won't be able to come back in at the same level that you were at before. And obviously plenty of sleep. Sleep's your ally, and that's when we heal ourselves the most, when we're actually sleeping. So that's a really important part of your immune system, and if you're sleep deprived, your immune system again has been shown to start to falter. So sleep's really important. And that's today's message from Mull. Wow, 8 minutes only. That's not too bad. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, and I hope you have a lovely day. It's due to be a really good day today, dry all day. So I hope you're out and about and enjoy yourselves and make use of it, and we'll see you later on. Take care. Bye-bye.